All right, welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles, you guys. It has been a minute since I've done one of these. I promise you guys, I'm gonna be more consistent. This is just, life has really been crazy over the last couple of months or so. So I am going to bring the Divorce Chronicles to an end, and we're going to move on and do other things after this particular podcast episode because I just need to get it off my chest. So stay tuned. It's going to be a little bit lengthy, so I hope you don't leave me, but we're going to get it crunk in just a second.
Welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast. This podcast was designed to let you know that you aren't the only one that took forever to get it together. So the rabbit hole that you have stumbled down will hopefully help you understand that just when you think it's over, it's only the beginning. Just because you were dealt a bad hand doesn't mean you have to keep it. Welcome to the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast.
And welcome back, man. Listen, I missed you guys. I just want you to know, sitting behind my computer and sitting behind my mic, I really missed doing it. It had really been a trying time for me in the last couple of months. And so let me just get into it. Now, those of you guys who have been listening to this podcast and following me for a little while know that I recently just got divorced. Well, it was finalized last month, early part of last month. And, you know, I'll say this is that this divorce has really taught me a few things, right? It's taught me how to be more honest. It's taught me how to bring things to fruition and just start talking, But what I will never do again is I will probably never, ever, ever waste anyone's time. I went through a different gauntlet of emotions. Now, when we first split, it was all the emotions were in it when we first split because everybody's mad at each other. You a son of a bitch, you this and you that, and a lot of emotions were in it. But I would tell you that going through divorce court and speaking with the judge, let me tell you something about these judges, man. Let me tell you something about the state of Missouri. Okay, let me get one thing clear. The state of Missouri don't give a damn what's going on in your life. Like, they don't care if you got car payments. They don't care if you got bills. They don't care. And I just could never understand that. That's another podcast altogether. I want to know, but I will ask this question and maybe somebody can answer for me. Can somebody please tell me how the government or the judges or whoever can assign a child support or a spousal support order based on the gross amount of money you make? Now, we're grown, we're adults. We those of us who are listening, since when do you bring home your gross pay? Like, since when does that happen? That doesn't happen. You bring home your net. So this is after your insurance. This is after insurance. This is after taxes. Cause Uncle Sam come for the po folks first. You know what I mean? So since when, and so I never could understand that. I will say this, divorce court was hard. And I'll tell you why divorce court was hard. It was because my ex-wife really put it on thick in front of the judge. And, and I'm not saying that she wasn't, warranted for her feelings, but I think she put a little extra stank on it in front of the judge. And then she ended her testimony with, I'm not looking for a refuge. I'm just, and so I felt like at that time, I felt like that she was playing on the judge's emotions. Right. But we're going to get to the gist of all this in a minute. And so I'm sitting in the courtroom looking at the judge like, yo, here's my check stub. This is what I make. She's wanting, X amount of dollars. We're not going to get into all that, but she wanted X amount of dollars. And I'm like, ma'am, I can't afford that, and so I'm telling her, and because I'm the one that's working, my son, with him being special needs, he requires a bit more attention. So I get it. She's his full-time caregiver. I get it. Right. But at the end of the day, I still can't afford what you're asking me. But anyway, neither here nor there. The judge said, screw you. You're gonna do this. But she did not give us a judgment that day. It took about 2 weeks to get a final judgment. And the reason why I have to bring this to a close and close this chapter was because when I got my divorce decree, those of us who have been divorced, your divorce decree is the final step. That's it, right? That's when you open the little manila envelope and you read the contents of that manila envelope and you go, okay, that's it. And so I got my divorce decree. And for some reason or another, my life changed in that moment, right? Reading, not only what I had to pay in spousal support and child support, but because those things, that's monetary. That doesn't mean anything to me because I work for a living. So it isn't, what got me was after all the bickering and all the fighting and all the name calling and all of that, having it on paper changed the game. I can't point out, I can't figure out why though, but having it on paper just threw me for a loop. And, reading all of the findings and, the finalities and, she went back to her maiden name and, all that. It was tough. Now, the whole time in the beginning, I'm a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a tough guy. I'm like, whatever, feel how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but if you guys have been listening to me long enough, you guys know I went through an emotional trauma and almost ended it. But, I went through that stage and then I went through, cause I did an episode on, I did an episode on the 5 levels of grief or whatever. And I went through it, like the suicide thoughts. And then I got mad, but this is all pre-court. We were filing motions and all that jazz, but then once we went to court and I saw that, she didn't give me a lick of grace in court. I mean, she did not, and even the week before we got our divorce decree, she was cussing me out and, telling me, yo, you want to pay the minimum, you want to do the minimum, you want to do this and you want to do that. And so when we got a divorce decree, she must have read hers wrong because she texted me, cussing me out. And I don't read a divorce decree. I know what it say, you know what I'm saying? And she read it and she texted me, she cussed me out. I said, you see that? You did? I said, no. You need to go back and read that again. Something, because, hey, get somebody to read it for you because it was, and I remember, one of the text messages she sent me, she said, looks like you won, you got to do this and that. And I said, are you reading the same decree I'm reading? Because according to the decree I'm reading, you won. But, I tried not to see it in the matter or in the means of who won and who lost. Because at the end of the day, nobody won, at the end of the day. And nobody wins in divorce. Don't let nobody fool you and tell you that they do. There's no winning in divorce. And it was hard. And it's hard on my son and it's hard on me, because, we have our weekend drop-offs and it's tough, going from, being in there, being in his life and seeing him every day full time to being relegated to just seeing him on the weekends, and every other weekend. It's hard. I don't know how any parent, anybody that's listening that has that kind of arrangement to where you see your kids every other weekend or every other Tuesday or however you see it. I don't see how any parent can get used to that. I haven't. And we've been doing this since January. And 6 months in, it's still different. It's like I took him home yesterday. I had him this weekend and I'll have him next weekend too, because it's Father's Day. But I took him home yesterday and my ex-wife lives on this long dirt road and I dropped him off and I left and I look at my rearview mirror and I see my son chasing the car. And I'm like, oh my God. So my ex-wife, she's texting me and she's like, he's running after you. And I look in the mirror. I had to back up the car and, and take him back home and all that. And it was crazy. And it's times like that where it's hard. When drop-offs are really hard. Sometimes, I can drop him off and he go to his mama and it's good. You know what I mean? But it wasn't as good. But getting back to the story. So got the divorce decree. Read the divorce decree. I instantly got depressed to the point where I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped taking my medication because those of you that don't know, I am a diabetic, full blown. So it's not going to be, there's no, I'll say, I won't say full blown because I'm not taking any kind of insulin or anything like that. But, I'm a diabetic. I'll say that. And so I got to the point where the weekend that I got my divorce decree, I got it on a Saturday. We'll forget it. And I read the divorce decree and I said, wow, the judge really screwed me on this one, saying I'm gonna be working for the rest of my life trying to pay, I'm faced with a career change here in a little bit. And it's, and I'll do it if I have to. But anyhow, so I got depressed and I stopped taking my medication. Now for diabetics, when you stop taking your meds, it's bad, right? So I remember the weekend that I got my divorce decree, my roommate and I, Nick, we had just got paid, went to the grocery store, we bought a whole bunch of sodas, and that's kind of what we do or did. So he had his Mountain Dews and I have my Pepsis, and so this one particular weekend, man, when I tell you I gorged myself on my Pepsis. I mean, I drunk in that one weekend. I know I downed 2 cases in 2 days, just because it was something to do and I was depressed and I'm taking my meds. Here's the problem with that. I had tore my body apart. I didn't even realize what I was doing. And so I had a friend of mine fly in from North Carolina, Miss Courtney. You guys have heard about her. And I did a episode about her some years ago. So Courtney flew in to see me. And we hadn't seen each other in a couple of years. I hadn't been home in a while. And so she flew in. I drove up to Kansas City to see her. And for some reason, man, my body just wasn't right. Now, I had already knew something was wrong because I had like frequent urination. I had the obsessive dry mouth. I couldn't never get satisfied as far as drinking anything. So she came to Kansas City and I flew up and we spent the weekend together, just chilling, catching up and all that. And I did not have any kind of energy. Excuse me. I didn't have any energy to do anything. Like I picked her up from the airport. We went to the hotel room and as soon as I saw the bed, I was out. I could not function. It's a 2.5 hour drive for me from where I live to Kansas City. So I was just out of sorts. I couldn't think. I was sweating. I knew I had lost some weight. People have been telling me, oh, Terry, it looks like you lost some weight, da-da-da. But this particular weekend, I noticed it, right? So I'm walking past a mirror and I said, man, I look terrible. I look sick, really, for real. And everything that I wore, it was falling off of me, right? So I had no idea, what was going on. I still haven't any idea. And so, and then everything I ate, it tasted cruddy. It was a terrible, terrible weekend. So that Friday night, we went to a Royals game. Anybody who know anything about me, I'm a huge Royals fan. And so I went to a Royals game and that was tough. My favorite team, and I just could not function. And so we ended up, getting out of there. Now we're talking about frequent urination to where I had to sit on the end of the row so I can get to the bathroom because I was going to the bathroom every 20 minutes. It was just that bad. And so we made it through. She left that Sunday. We went to brunch and, she got on her plane and she left. But it was just real. My body was just really, I didn't have any idea. Right. So Monday rolled around and I said, I got to go to the doctor. I don't know what's going on because this frequent urination, this is ridiculous. Like, we're not talking about pillows. We're talking about full streams. every 30 minutes. It was bad. So I go to the doctor on Monday. I got one of those sick appointments, right? So I got to see her the same day. Get to the doctor, and she says, "Oh my God, what have you done?" Is what she said to me. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? I had some sodas, whatever. She's like, "Look, your A1C is 13.4. You should be and for my age group and my weight or whatever, I should have been, my A1C should be down between 5 and 6. She said your A1C is 13.4. She said that the blood in your body right now is running through your veins like molasses. That's the reason why you can't. That's the reason why you have fatigue. That's the reason why that you're going through the frequent urination and all that good stuff." And I was like, wow, like I really didn't have a clue. And so she still didn't really check my sugar at the time. She just told me my A1C was high. Here's your meds. Go about your business, take care of yourself. Let me see you in a month, right? So I went to work the next day. This was Tuesday. Went to work the next day, and I'm the medical officer in my prison. So if you ever go to prison, don't go to prison. But if you ever go to prison, and if you come to the medical department to see the ER, or the doctor, or whatever, that's my spot. So I go to the doctor. I go to work the next day, and the doctor, Dr. Garcia, he said, "Hey, you don't look good. Check your blood sugar real quick." And I was like, "Okay," because we have diabetics in prison, and so I went and got one of those blood sugar kits and all that, and I checked it, and my blood sugar was 400. The med pass nurse was like, "If you don't get out of here and go to the doctor and go to the hospital," because at that point I got blurry. I got blurry vision. I got I had a lot of issues going on, and she's like, "You need to leave," and so I left. Ended up going to the ER. I spent 7 hours in the ER. They gave me two bouts of insulin, 2 bags of fluids, and a long visit, and a high bill. And so they got my sugar down to 322, sent me home. And so, I just was not aware of my health, and I can, like, before this sugar episode, I was wearing glasses, and I still wear them, but it's just now that I can see better without them than I can with them since the sugar episodes, which is crazy. So I said all of that to say this. If you are a diabetic listening to this, man, please take your meds. If you have anybody in your family that's a diabetic that's probably lost limbs and, stuff like that, I got a friend of mine back home, Freddie. He lost, I think he lost both of his feet, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe just one, behind diabetes. So make sure you take your meds, and I definitely take mine. I check my sugar on the regular. I try to watch what I eat as far as that goes. But that Friday, I'll say this: that Friday when I was in Kansas City, I thought I was on the door of death, like legit. I actually called my daughters and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you Nick's number, my roommate, and if I don't wake up, if I don't, whatever." I mean, we was serious. It was that serious. That's how bad I felt. So again, I say all that to say this is that make sure you take your meds. And I should not have let my life circumstances take me to that place to where I wasn't taking care of myself, because she living life fine. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting up here struggling and being depressed and all that jazz. And so, like I said, I'm back on my regimen. I'm back doing what I'm supposed to do with my stuff. And I think the last time I checked my sugar, it was like a 150. So I'm good. So listen, life is life. As much as you want, because you're the only person. You heard this cliche a lot. You are the author of your destiny, and this is true. Don't let life take you to where you forget who you are and you forget how to take care of yourself. And that's the mistake that I made, is that I totally forgot who I was. I let the circumstances of my situation dictate how I take care of myself. because literally at one point or another, I gave up and I said, I don't want to do this anymore, you know, but I got a 7-year-old son to look after, he loves his daddy and I love him, you know what I mean? So don't let life circumstances take you out of what about you. Don't do that. Don't get distracted with life. I mean, it happens. We hurt. Life is, I can't even describe it. Life is, it could be amazing. It could be amazing and beautiful, and it could be a pain. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather live it than not. But to put a bow on this Divorce Chronicles was that to my ex, if she's listening to this, which she doesn't, because she's never supported anything I've done, but if she ever catches this, I just want you to know that I apologize. I'm sorry that I caused you so much pain over the years, and it's over, and I wish you nothing but the best. I want you to be happy. I want everybody involved to be happy. Hell, I want to be happy. At the end of the day, I don't want you to be the only one happy. Shit, I want to be happy too. But life is what it is. And everyone who enters your life is there for a reason or a season. They're either there to pick something up from you. They're there to pick something. They're there for you to pick something up from them. There's always a reason for someone into your life. Nothing in this life is by happenstance. So that is what I'm going to leave this with. I'm going to end my Divorce Chronicles here. It was a heck of a ride. 9.5 years. Excuse me. It is still painful some days. Yes. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you and say it's not, because it is. But at the same time, life goes on. People move on. Circumstances change. People change. You have to change. So in that, I'm going to get out of here. I want you guys I did an interview on Blemish Podcast with Shira. So if you guys get a chance to see that, man, go check that out for me. The Blemish Podcast with Shira Marie. Yeah, she's getting divorced. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate you. And until the next time, we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't fry your brain too bad. Come back through and give me another chance. You can listen on all platforms and visit us at Knucklehead Chronicles Podcast.podbean.com. Until next time, in the words of the incomparable Jerry Springer, take care of yourself and each other.